afternoon, everybody. It's the Two Old Farts coming at you live. My name is Chuck.
I'm looking at the two old farts.
You still believe that, don't you?
Hey,
What?
I gotta have something to say. I gotta have something make me feel good.
Yep, you sure do. And
I didn't feel that
we
well
should be.
yesterday.
What's that?
So I didn't feel that well yesterday. I don't know. I just had a headache and just kind of didn't feel. You just kind of feel like CHI
Crap.
do it. Yeah.
Like crap.
Yeah.
Well, this time of the year and also in spring, there's something about the weather and the change in the atmospheric conditions and whatnot, because I get headaches all the time during this time of the year. So it could have been that. Could have been dehydration. Who knows?
Well, I get headaches all the time, and it's migraines. They gave me some medicine a couple of different times that actually made me feel worse than. So I just rely on my ibuprofen and Tylenol. Well, mostly Tylenol. I don't take ibuprofen. I can't because I take another pain pill.
But I bet you were feeling pretty good after that game on Saturday.
Yeah, it was. That was
a good game.
They're starting to do like I told you earlier. Jalen Milroe and the way he's coming around and the way this team's playing is more like what it was when Jalen was playing first started. He was, we won.
You're talking about Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, it wasn't all of that flashy, and it was just you can just see the maturity and the self-confidence grow, and it grows around him, not just him, but the other players.
They're feeding off of it.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the supporting cast that Jalen had, especially at wide receiver, running back.
Running back and wide receiver, if I remember right, was a little bit better back then.
Yeah,
But you got to remember those wide receivers, Smitty and Waddle and all of those guys, they were freshmen the next year. Remember when we got Tua the following year? Yeah, or was Tua already there?
Tua was already there.
Tua's already, yeah.
Yeah. But
so we had elite wide receivers there, but they just weren't getting the reps at the time until they pulled Jalen and put in Tua.
Right. And that difference of quarterbacks and styles and coaches and how they are. And I think you hit the nail on the head last week. They're starting to play his kind of a ball game. He's coming into his own and his confidence. You can just see that, and I like his attitude. He's not cocky,
Nope.
And I think the other players around him pick up on that kind of stuff too.
I think so too. And he was throwing the ball better Saturday.
Yeah. What open play was a long pass, So,
yeah, he wasn't overshooting his receivers by like 4 or 5 yards. I mean, as the season's going on, he's getting better. Like you said, he's getting his confidence. And what I liked most about seeing him last week and this past weekend is when he is breaking to the side, he's looking down the field and he's waving off the players and he's throwing the ball and not just tucking it down and running. When he is tucking it down and running, it's because the receivers are covered and the defense is giving him 15 yards and he just takes it.
Yeah, and
so that's smart. That's smart quarterback play.
Well, that's good coaching. Teaching them how to see the whole field and not just what's in front of him. And it's also maturity. And some people are talking about him being benched. I don't think the benching is what caused him to change so much as he did some self-reflection, probably gave him some time to think about it. Personally, I don't call it benching. I think the coaches.
There was a lesson. There was a lesson there to be learned, and I think Saban wanted to see how he would react. Would he crumble and fall, or would he display, like you said, that maturity and accept what had happened, but also see that there are consequences when you don't play your best game. You don't listen to what we've been teaching you this week, the game film, the preparation, when you don't do those things. But I also think they maybe simplified the playbook for him a little bit, which, again, gave him his confidence. He's not playing a simple game of football. I think they eased it up and gave him his confidence. And you're seeing it right now, like you said.
Yeah, totally agree. I also think that message probably resonates throughout the rest of the team as well, about overconfidence. I need to play every play how I'm being coached to play and those kind of things rather than I got this, So, and
Nope,
what I
right.
was really pleased about was there was no mental letdown. A lot of times there's a mental letdown when the press, everybody talks about you're so much better than the other team and those kind of things. The real test is going to be Saturday when we play Chattanooga. Not so much from a physical skills point of view, but from a mental point of view.
How serious they take it in the preparation.
Exactly. If they take that and prepare for that game just like they did with Kentucky, we're going to be all right for the rest of the year, I think. Now, whether we win the rest of the games or not, I don't know yet, but I think it increased.
If any of the fans want to criticize the defense, if you do, you're poor mouthing Kentucky because that's a good football club. And them 21 points they hung on us just shows how good of a team Kentucky is.
Absolutely. It shows their mentality. They did not give up, even to the last play. Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about Saturday, and we got some good seats, and
I think we're gonna have a great time.
Get my sutures out tomorrow, so I'll be able to eat a little barbecue and some banana pudding.
Sounds good. Before we move on out of college football, what do you think of the news on Sunday out of Aggie Land?
I'm going to tell you,
College Station.
I wasn't surprised. I was surprised at how early it is. But I made some notes here. I'm really concerned about college football. You got Jim Harbaugh and the stuff he's in, and he got suspended for big deal. So you can't go to the field on game day. That's nothing. If he did all those kind of things and they were able to prove it, there should be more to it. And Jim Fisher, he's got a $77.5 million payout.
Yep.
What does that tell you about sports?
Winning is the most important thing than money.
But he's not winning. It's more about
that's what that $75 million payout is telling everybody is we care more about winning because the $75 million that is due you're not that valuable because you're not getting the wins, which means they're losing money by keeping him on because they're not going to the CFP. They're not going to big bowl games, which means there's no big TV dollars. Yep. And there's no high school recruits are going to want to go there. None of the skill players in the transfer portal are going to want to go there. And not only that, guess who's coming into the league next year? Texas.
And I think that's why they pulled the string as quick as they did. Because they know next year
they're trying to salvage that recruiting class from next year.
Yep. And I don't understand. The next year we're not going to have the two divisions in the SEC. I haven't followed that too much. What's that all about? We don't.
Let me check real quick.
We're not having the East and West, or two divisions like we're having now. They're adding those two teams, but anyway, this money business just really concerns me, and it's not just football; it's all sports. The NIL, the top 10 college players, most of them are quarterbacks. They're making 1.2, 1.3 to over $6 million a year in NIL. Now, that doesn't mean they're getting all that money, and it is football, basketball, and women's basketball is third, and softball and stuff like that. It's just so much money getting involved in all that stuff. That concerns me about the sport itself.
So you're right. They're doing away with the two divisions. The top two teams will go to the conference championship game. They're doing 2 home, 2 away. What did it say here? The 2024 opponents will be determined on 2 factors: traditional opponents and the balance of schedule strength. The balance of the schedule strength was based on each school's conference winning percentage since the last expansion of the SEC in 2012. Winning percentages for Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12 since 2012 were included in determining the 16 position rankings. Each school's 2024 schedule will include 4 opponents, 2 home, 2 away, and whose winning percentage ranked among the top 8 since 2012. And each school's 2024 schedule will include 4 opponents, 2 home and 2 away, whose winning percentages ranked among the second 8 conference winning percentages. No team will travel to the same location to which it traveled to last year, or which is this year. And it should be noted that when a long-term schedule format is determined, it may not be possible to structure a schedule that does not include some schools playing at the same location in back-to-back years in the first year of the new format. So it's looking like our schedule home next year is Auburn, Georgia, Missouri, South Carolina. On the road, LSU, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Vandy.
It's like an old saying, the more things change, the more it stays the same, right?
More stays the same. Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah. We're talking about this NIL. Arch Manning is the highest paid NIL guy in football, $2.9 million. He hadn't even played a game yet, and it's not sure if he's going to play next year.
I haven't seen him in a commercial. I've seen Dion and his son Shador in a commercial.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, he's in the Dr. Pepper commercial.
Yep. So it's too much money getting into it, and I'm not sure it's going in the right direction. I think it could probably be served a lot better if it was more across the board with all of the athletes versus just 1 or 2. I understand, but most of these NIL athletes this year is quarterbacks. And I get that. I get the publicity. People want to watch that. It draws in crowds. So it's not just, it's just across the board. It's all about money.
True, but every player has an opportunity to make a little money. If I'm, let's just say I'm a tight end from East Texas somewhere, I can go back home and get somebody from my county or town or whatever, if I was, a great football player from that area, and I can get, maybe 500 here, 500 there from from a car dealership or a restaurant or something to promote them.
And that is,
you don't have to get millions of dollars, but you can get some money, and that's the point.
And
here's the thing: instead of it being under the table now, it's on top of the table. The money that's being paid out.
And that's true. What you're saying is true, because I forgot now, something like 24, 28, 30%, something like that, of all athletes are getting some portions of money. Not just not the few, the 10, 15 that you hear about, stuff like that, but all athletes across the board.
You can go back to your hometown and your state and try to, where you came from, and try to get a little bit of here and there. Every little bit helps.
Yeah. But agents are the ones making the real money, aren't they? They're making 15,
I don't think they can have agents. They can have agents.
They can have agents.
They can. Okay.
Yes. And agents get 15 to 20% of their NIL deals. Now, of course, all that money doesn't always materialize, up front and those kind of things. And that's probably where, I don't know. It's just, it's changed, and
Do you
sometimes
not? Do you not like the? Do you not like the NIL deals?
I'm not sure. I have mixed emotions. When it first came about, I was very much in favor of it. But the more I read and see about it, I'm not sure how well it's been enforced across the board as far as it's going to be just like sports betting if we're not careful, if we don't control it. NCAA is at some point in time probably going to be a thing of the past.
Oh yeah.
You know,
All they
and if
really
we
do
don't,
now is compliance anyway.
right. And I'm not really looking at Harbaugh. I'm not even sure if there's a compliance, you know, so or like it
You know,
should
my
be.
wife and I were talking about that. We were just talking about that about. Well, she doesn't know too much about it, but she was like, "Does Harbaugh know what he was doing and not doing?" And I'm like, as the head coach, how could he not know that one of his staff is going to all of these different games and recording their opposing team's side signals? Like, is it just going to magically show up one day to the defense and the offense? Like, hey, do this or do that when you see this. Like, where does this come from? Like, how
So
does
the
Jim
coach,
Harbaugh not know how these shifts and stunts are going to affect the practice? Like, where did this information come from? Just like magic? Did the Easter Bunny just leave it?
he's,
Like,
he's,
or the Tooth Fairy under your bed? I
he's
mean,
just
come
going to
on.
say,
The coach has to
"Wow,
know what the hell
I didn't,
happened.
I didn't see that in the film that we had."
Exactly.
It's just,
You know, like
you
all of
know,
a sudden, your offensive and defensive coordinators are just freaking geniuses now. All of a sudden, like,
yeah, they
oh,
should be the
I
coach.
didn't know.
Yeah, yeah, they should be the coaches, right? So who do you think is going to replace Jimbo Fisher? Well, I know this year is the interim
Um,
coach.
my wife gave out a list of names. The UTSA coach was named, but they don't think that he's going to take it. He would be a fool right now to take it. He needs to test the waters right now and get a little more consistency with UTSA before. And I don't think they would go after him for like $50-60 million because
Oh
he
no,
hasn't.
I,
UTSA hadn't even won a bowl game in their career, Dad. So he's done a lot of great things, but is he ready for that Texas
the next
A&M
level.
level from UTSA? There's
I'm hoping
some
A&M is going to learn.
stratification there.
I hope A&M learns like Texas did. How much are they paying Sarkisian? $8 million total for like a
A
2 or
year?
3 year contract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know what? Look what Sarkisian did. Look what
and that's
Lane Kiffin's name was floated.
yeah,
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's name was floated as well.
and see that they're not making the salary that they signed Fisher. So I don't. These like Texas learn. You got to pay that money back some sort of way. I was listening to this guy last night from A&M. They're talking about the 12th man. How many different organizations part of that are going to contribute into, and they weren't worried about the money. Well, I suspect you probably are a little bit. And they're going to try to find somebody that will come in and win, or hopefully win, but not spend $40-50 million to on a 5 year contract or something like that. So I don't know. It's just, and I can't blame the coaches. Jimbo is 58 years old. He's worth about 30 million. Plus, he's got another 67 or 77, whatever that number is, over the next few years.
So right now on Fox Sports, they're saying Mike Elko from Duke, Jeff Traylor from UTSA, Mike Norvell from Florida State. He ain't leaving there. Dan Lanning from
Right.
Oregon. Hell no, he ain't leaving Oregon. Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss. I think he's okay where he's at. He might be holding out for Alabama down the road.
Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer or DeBur, I don't know how you pronounce his name, from Washington. Maybe. But then again, Washington aren't they going to the Big Ten?
Yes.
The Huskies.
Yep.
Jed Fisher from Arizona. That's somebody who might go.
Yes.
And maybe Dan Campbell from the Detroit Lions. Those are the candidates right now. But right now, Dan Lanning, he ain't moving from Oregon. Hell no. Why would he leave? He's got a good thing going.
And not only that, was it Nike that puts all that money into Oregon?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy from Duke, maybe, but I don't think Traylor would leave, and I don't think he's ready for that spotlight, that white hot spotlight. Mike Norvell, come on, he ain't going.
No, he's not leaving Florida State. So.
Shoot, no.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what kind of salary increases these guys get, and rightfully so. I think they earn those salary increases when you win, and that they work hard. They put a lot of time in, and that's what I just wonder what happened with A&M, because they have the talent, they have the good recruits. They haven't not had any bad recruiting classes and stuff like that. So, but to me,
they're competing. They're competing in a very shallow pool of elite athletes. What I think their problem is they're not getting the coordinators, the caliber of the coordinator, because Ogeron, when he finally got in, I can't remember the offensive coordinator's name, when he had Joe Burrow, that's when you saw LSU jump up there. Because the year before, they didn't have such a great year, and he changed coordinators.
Well, A&M's got a
when
good.
Saban has good years, he's got good offensive and defensive coordinators.
But I forgot the guy's name now. But they have a good coordinator at A&M. The coach that he was a coach last year.
It's too little, too late, I would say.
Yeah. So, but I think they pulled the plug when they did because of the SEC bringing in Texas and Oklahoma next year,
and the recruiting classes that they're worried about, because I think they're anticipated to be the seventh highest class,
you got
not the first or second.
Team. Now you got another Texas team that's in the SEC that's recruiting, as well as a neighbor in Oklahoma. So,
but not just Texas as an in-school team going to the SEC, but a Texas that beat Alabama at home, that is on the verge of getting into the CFP.
Yep. So,
you see what I'm saying? So if I was a young prospect that has a choice, and I've gotten offers from Texas and A&M right now, there's more shine on UT than there is on A&M. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot more shine.
Well, how do you think the rating's going to fall out tomorrow night? You think we'll move up any, or we're going to stay where we're at?
Probably where we're at. I mean, there was no losses, were there, out of the top 6 teams?
No, the only thing is Texas.
Florida State won, Oregon won, Texas won, Ohio State won, Michigan won. So if there's no movement, why should we move up?
Yeah. But you look at the strength of schedule, though, you would think that
strength of schedule, strength of record. What's his name? Greg McElroy. We have the highest strength of schedule, strength of record of the one-loss teams. But head-to-head, Texas beat us, so Texas gets to stay ahead of us.
I don't disagree
Oregon's been playing good ball.
But I'm not sure.
Oregon's been playing good ball.
They've got one loss. But who have they played? That's only where I have the difference. I think
they played Utah. They played Washington. Yeah. They lost to Washington, but they lost to a good Washington team. They played a very good Utah team. Didn't they play USC?
But USC is in the middle of the road this year. The Heisman Trophy winner, he's not producing this year like he did last year. But yet he's still getting quite a bit on this UIL money.
NIL money.
Yeah. He's $2.6 million. So anyway.
Well,
I
just Dr. Pepper for that.
Yeah, that's true. I just think I agree with Texas being ahead of us. I just don't agree with Oregon being ahead of either one of us. And Texas moved ahead of Oregon, right, this week in the coaches poll? I can't remember.
Oh, I don't care about the coaches poll.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
really means nothing.
You're right.
Let's see the standings. If it ain't the AP or the CFP, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Rankings. Here we go. The CFP /AP /coaches poll. All right. So the top 25: AP, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, Texas, Alabama. Same thing on the coaches poll.
Coach poll is all the same. I just don't agree with Oregon being where they're at. Texas, I totally agree.
They got way more votes than us too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll see. So anyway, why are you working from home today?
Well, at work, it's a family day. My wing decided to give. They had like 2 floating family days this year, and they decided to give one to the military today, and then there's going to be one in December, I think the 15th. So because of that, I had some stuff that I was able to do from home. So my boss let me telework today. So I'm teleworking. Then earlier I was teleworking before we did our podcast.
Right.
But I did take a few hours off this morning because I had a doctor's appointment at pulmonology. I had to do that spirometer test or whatever, where you take a deep breath and blow really hard and then long and let all the air out. And man, that's a chore. That's a lot of hard work.
Yes, it is. It can tire you out a little bit.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah. And
but along with that, I finally got some good news last week. It only took since February to finally get my VA rating for emphysema. I had claimed sinusitis and rhinitis. They didn't give me the sinusitis, but they gave me the rhinitis, which is just an inflammation of the nose. Usually, sinusitis is brought on by rhinitis. And I did some research because when I texted you Thursday when I found out that I got the emphysema, they tied it to the CPAP, the sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea, yeah.
So there's federal law in the VA that says if you have multiple breathing issues, they combine them together into one rating. And generally they go after, of the two, which one is the most severe.
Right.
So with sleep apnea, it's either 0, 50, or 100. 0 meaning you have it, but it's just not bad enough for you to need a CPAP machine.
Right.
50 means you need a CPAP, and 100 is you're going to die almost. And with emphysema, it's 0, 10, 30, 60, or 100. So based on what I had read, obviously, I'm either at a 0, a 10, or a 30 on the rating, which doesn't exceed the 50. Now, if down the road it goes up to 60, then it would, I don't know how they would differentiate. Maybe emphysema would be first, emphysema with sleep apnea. I don't know. But if it's multiple breathing issues, they combine them into one rating and they take the highest of the two, because that's the law.
Right.
And the reason for that is there's so much overlap with these breathing issues. Like having emphysema alone can cause you to get sleep apnea and need the CPAP machine. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
The sleep apnea doesn't give me the emphysema. The emphysema can cause me to get sleep apnea.
Exactly, because of the sleeping behaviors. It took you a while, but I was impressed that once you had your final exams, they acted on it pretty quick.
It came really quick after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all you veterans, be patient. It's a process, and there's human beings involved in this thing, and they're pushing paperwork and whatnot. So if you have true concerns, don't take it out on the VA or the people doing your examinations, talk to your Congress people, talk to your senator, talk to your members of the House of Representatives. Those are the people that can change the laws. The people at the VA are only following the law. So if you have frustrations, don't take it out on them. You can ask questions, but be patient with them. It's a process. And as soon as you start the process, it is retroactive from the day you filed.
Absolutely. So what organization helped you with your claims?
I use Texas Veteran. I had signed up with them years before you and I had joined the DAV. But I would suggest that anybody who needs help join any of the veteran service organizations like DAV, VFW, American Legion, Purple Heart here in Texas, Texas Vets. There's multiple organizations that can help you file your claim.
I totally agree. You need to reach out to some veteran organization that will help you, and like you said, be patient. So if you had to give some advice, what would you say besides being patient?
Tips about being patient? Or
no,
what?
Other than being patient, what other advice would you have?
Keep good notes. You have to, and this is just for life in general, you have to be a good advocate for yourself, for all things in life, for your health care, for your job, for your education, for your family. If you don't advocate for yourself, you can't expect or hope that somebody else will. Because as we say in the Army, hope isn't a plan. So if you advocate for yourself, keep notes, keep records of your visits. These are all things that will help strengthen your case.
Absolutely.
Is that what you were looking for?
Yep. You have got to take care of yourself. You got to tell them they don't know anything about you other than your name, age, and blah, blah, blah. And they read you a little bit there. But you have to provide them with the information. And I think that's where a lot of veterans get frustrated. One, they probably don't have good records, or they get in that mindset that, well, it's not my responsibility. It is your responsibility too. So, some good advice.
By the same token, you may not have a lot of records, and here's why: if you've deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan or been on board a ship, the chances of you having records of your visits to the doctor probably slim to none. That's one. Two, the way to remedy that is through buddy statements or lay statements. Your friends who you were deployed with can write statements on your behalf. Your family members can write statements on your behalf. But more importantly, and this is a trend that I had noticed while I was on active duty, and I tell all of the active duty people that I work with, especially as you move up in rank, a lot of people put their health care, their pain and suffering on the back burner rather than go to the doctor and get seen and treated for their illnesses and ailments. Why? Because of the perception that your boss will have upon you. Oh, hey, where's Corbett at? Oh, he's at the doctor's office. He's on sick call. He's getting physical therapy. Then pretty soon you get that reputation. Oh, we'll skip Corbett. He's always out at the doctor. Let's go get, Smith. He's always here. So military members usually put off their health care because of that perception about going to be seen at the doctor. So when you go to file your claim, the VA looks and goes, you're claiming low back pain. Well, you only went to sick call twice for your low back pain, and they give you nothing for service connection because you only went twice. It's not like a recurring problem. Well, exactly. Maybe you had it for all your 20 years, but it was only so bad that you couldn't take it those 2 times, and you went to get seen. And then you didn't follow up with it. So advocate for yourself. If you're sick, if you're hurt while you're on active duty, go get seen, go get treated. That's also what I would say. Be an advocate for yourself.
I tell every active duty veteran that I see, get it documented. You need to take care of yourself. So,
if you don't, who else will?
Absolutely.
You join up at 100% healthy, and you come out broken.
Absolutely. Well said.
Well, shoot, man. we're over 30 minutes, and I didn't even get a chance to talk about Worst Fest on Thursday, my Friday night concert. Shoot, I guess we'll have to for the next time.
So I guess Friday or Saturday or Sunday, whenever we talk from Tuscaloosa, we'll talk a little bit about Worst Fest and your concert.
I guess if we even remember about Worst Fest. Yeah, so before we started, we're flying out Friday, the game Saturday, flying back Sunday. So after the game, we'll try to record our podcast before we go out and get some dinner on Saturday night.
Yeah, you got to get to Dreamland at least one time, maybe twice. I don't know.
Oh yeah. gotta go gotta get that banana pudding, right?
Gotta get some banana pudding. Oh man, that stuff's good.
Hey, guess what's going on next week? Thanksgiving.
We got a trip to Blue Bonnet.
Yep, to the Blue Bonnet Cafe, pick up them pies.
And Kaylee's coming down too, right?
Yep, Kaylee, Peter, and the grandkids are coming down next week as well.
Are they going to be here Thanksgiving or after on the weekend?
Yeah, they'll be over Thanksgiving.
Or Thanksgiving. Nice. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Peter may join us on Wednesday morning on our road trip.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. We'll see you Friday for sure.
Hey,
if not sooner.
Yeah, Friday for sure. So, hey, this is the Two Old Farts podcast. Thank you all for 3,000 and then some all-time downloads. You can make sure if you like us, you hit subscribe. You follow us on all the social medias. The Two Old Farts are on Instagram, Twitter, the 2oldfarts.com webpage, Podbean. You can find us. You can find us on Spotify, Pandora, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, anywhere podcasts can be found. Player FM, Deezer, Stitcher. Just type in the Two Old Farts and we will show up. And make sure you like us and subscribe.
Sounds good. You have a good week.
All right. You too. Talk to you next week. See you on Friday.
All right. Love you guys. Love all you guys out there. Give us a call. Shout out to us.
Yeah, thank you. Love you all. Love you, Dad.
All right, son. Love you too. Bye.
All right, bye.